Hey everyone! So I'm very excited because today I am starting to put up my Christmas decor. So I'm the type of person that definitely decorates before Thanksgiving. I try to wait until about the middle of November so I'm not too early, but I feel like if I'm going to put in all the work to get the decorations out, put them up, I want to enjoy them for more than just 25 days. So I'm going to start with this Christmas tree, and something I knew I wanted to do this year was to decorate a small tree just in flowers. I have a combination of fake flowers and dry flowers, which I'll show you in a little bit. But since I knew I wanted to do that, I've been looking up photos online, trying to get some inspiration, and the one that I found that I loved the most was from Design Love Fest. I'll pop it up on the screen so you can see what the tree looks like, but I really like the way that it kind of swoops up with the flowers, and then there's some bare space in between, which is where I'm going to put the lights. So that's kind of the overall look that I'm going for. It's not going to look identical by any means because I don't have the same bright colors of flowers that they do. Mine's going to be a bit more like pink or muted tones, but I'm going for the same general aesthetic, I guess, of that tree. The tree that I've got here is 4.5 feet. I definitely could have gone for something taller just in terms of the height of this room, but I wanted to start small for 2 reasons. One, I didn't know if I would like it or be able to do it, so I wanted to try it on something smaller. Also, I don't need to have as many flowers if I start with a small tree compared to a large one. And second, Christmas trees are expensive. This one I think was about $80, so I think that's going to be good to kind of try out for my first time doing this method. So what I'll do right now is I'm going to take you around. I'll show you what I have to work with. I don't know if I'm going to put everything I have onto this tree. I'm kind of going to see how it goes as I go, and hopefully we get a beautiful result by the end of it, or at least a good enough result. So let me show you what I have on hand as far as the tree decor. Over here I have the fake flowers. This is just Garland that I ordered online. So there's 5 of these strands of flowers. So 2 I've already unrolled, or maybe 3 I've unraveled, and then the other 2 are here. Other fake flowers, this was one long piece of garland, but I went ahead and used some wire cutters to cut it into smaller branches that I can then have just more control over where I'm gonna put these in the tree. So those are the fake flowers. I did cut some hydrangeas. These are pretty large, so they might be too large for the tree, but we'll see. And then over here are the rest of the flowers I have drying. So the Gomphrena, I made a whole video on that. I've been cutting that throughout the season, so I have a ton of that I can use. I also have some bluish green hydrangeas up there. I have some of these that are brown color. And then I have these, which I think are perfect for Christmas, where they're pink and white. So kind of like a red and white slight combination there. So that is what I am working with. I also plan to, so I'm going to use these dried flowers, for example, but the tree isn't going to be the last way I use them. So I'm going to repurpose them afterwards and maybe actually make a wreath out of these, which will kind of be more of a permanent project with the dried flowers. But any dried flowers I use on the tree, I'm going to then use again later. So what I think I'm going to do first is start with this garland to get the basic shape of the swirl of the tree that I want, and then I will go ahead and build from there. I also wanted to show these lights, so this is what I'm planning to use for the tree. I don't know if they're going to be too large, but basically these are the lights I use on the deck during the summer, so instead of having to get new lights, I'd rather repurpose what I have. So we'll see if those work. And also, can you tell which seat my cat likes to sit in? So now I have the basic shape of kind of the swoop upwards. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and use the other flowers and kind of thicken it up a little bit. And I had enough, so I think it was about 2.5 strands of garland made it all the way around. So then I started just wrapping it back down to thicken it up. So there's actually 2 pieces of garland here right next to each other. And then just a Christmas tip that I didn't know, or Christmas tree decorating tip, is if you want to hold something in place, you can just fold the branches on it. So I basically put the garland through here. At the end, I know this is where I want it to stay and not fall. So you just bend over the branch. I don't know if everyone knows that, but I didn't know it until last year when I was putting garland on it, and I watched a video and I was like, oh, this makes everything much easier. So I'm gonna keep going ahead and adding more flowers now. Now I've gone ahead and added the dried hydrangeas that were the kind of pink and white, and then the greenish blue color here. And what I did is I tried to put the larger flowers down at the bottom, the smaller ones up at the top. And I also made sure I liked how the front looked, that I had enough flowers to fill in the front before I went around to the back. Just because obviously I'd rather have the flowers on the front, and if I run out of room, have a little bit less on the back. But still overall looks pretty good, and I was able to get some hydrangeas all the way around the tree. Next, I'm gonna add in the Gomphrena, and what I've decided to do is bunch them together in groups of 5, and then I'm using a twist tie to hold them together and then potentially to secure them to the tree. I should mention the hydrangeas, those are just nestled in the branches, not really attached anyway, so hopefully those stay on and my cats don't knock them off. So the Gomphrena has now been added, and as you saw, I basically twist tied them together, and then each bunch I was able to tuck into the tree. The stems on the Gomphrena were long enough that they were pretty easy to secure in there. So I'm liking how this is filling in, but going to keep adding more flowers. So I was playing around a little bit with these. This again is the garland that I cut into bunches, but I actually think it's much easier to use if I just like take off the individual stems. So it's easy enough just to pull and get those stems, and then I can do the same thing with the leaves to fill that in. So that's what I think I'm gonna do as far as this type of flower. All the white flowers are now added on, and I really like how they kind of droop down. I think it adds just a little bit more texture to the tree. I just realized I had no plan for the tree topper, so what I've done is I just gathered some more dried flowers that I had around the house. I'm going to put this on the top, and then I'll probably add in some more just around to kind of make it a little bit larger, and we'll see if I like it. Here's what the top of the tree looks like now. I know the candelabra's in the back, so hard to see some of the detail, but I added in a bunch of dried flowers, some lavender, zinnia, little cattails, and then some more of the white flowers just around here. And I think I like it. So next we'll add the lights and see how that looks. I've now added the strand of lights, and I think I like the big bulbs. So there's not as many lights, but the little globes of light are a bit larger. So I think I'm gonna stick with that. Now, this isn't the final place for the tree, so I'm gonna move it over and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. I also just wanted to point out the mess that I've made all over the floor and all over this table. I ended up using almost everything except for the brown dried hydrangeas. I just didn't really think the brown color kind of went with the tree. And then, yeah, these were, well, they're brown, but they're also just too large for what I was going for. But other than that, I used all of the other flowers. I still have more Gomphrena, but I used the majority of it. So overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. This is the corner of the room where the tree is gonna be for the holiday season. So it's just in the corner over here, right next to the couch. I actually managed to knock it over. I pulled the top out of the bottom on accident as I was pulling it over, and some of the flowers fell out, but overall, I think we're still looking pretty good. And here it is again with the lights turned on. So that's going to be everything for this video. I actually think it turned out better than I expected, which is a pleasant surprise when you're trying something for the first time. But I think it's going to be a great way to kind of incorporate the flowers and the plants that I love into the Christmas season. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you try out something like this on your tree, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.